there, boys. I see you. All right, awesome. Well, thank you all for coming in to listen. I just got a new mic, so hopefully it is better. But anyway, we're gonna have a. I titled my script or like the notes I'm kind of following. It's titled "Fucking Legendary Lecture," so you know it's gonna be sick if I title it that. But okay, boys, we're gonna talk about overthinking today. I'm not gonna lie, this is something that affects all of us, and myself included, right? It's kind of like a hurdle, right? We want to take action on things in our lives, but somehow our brain always gets in the way. And that's the thing with overthinking. And so I want to start with defining what overthinking is. Just if you don't know, it's obsessively thinking of something. And this could be something that happened in the past or the future, usually. Essentially, what you're doing is you're beating a dead horse, right? There's no way you can overthink something in the present, right? How can you think something in the present? It's usually past or future. So, example is you took a test the other week, and the test is over with. You finished the test, but you're still overthinking. You're still overthinking the grade or question number 3. But does it really matter? Is my question, right? And our brain doesn't know that. And it's hard to tell yourself, don't overthink. It's hard to tell yourself, don't worry about the past. Logically, it makes sense, right? We don't want to worry about something that didn't happen or something that happened. But yeah, for example, I told you that you took a test. What is there to change? You can't change anything. And I could definitely relate. How many times I took tests and I was like, oh, number 5, I don't know if I got it right. But I'm really going to go over some ways today to get out of your head. And so, another note before we start, I want to define more about overthinking. So, you got to understand that you don't overthink the positive. How many times do you overthink the positive in your life? It's usually the negatives and the bad that get you in your head and overthinking. It's like a loop. I know what it's like. It's like a loop, and you're stuck in your head. So hey, you don't overthink the bad, and that's good to know. And so let's start. What you have to understand is that the goal is not to stop thinking. I think many people have it confused. Many people think the goal is to stop thinking. The goal is to just not have thoughts. And I was there too. I thought before I started meditation or when I was overthinking a lot, I'm always like, I wish I wasn't thinking. And that's not a good place to be because let's give you this. Let's give you this analogy. Would you ever want your heart to stop beating? No. So why would you want your brain to stop thinking? The goal of your brain is to think. Yeah, it has other motives and goals, but your brain is made to think. Thoughts are harmless. And the second you're overthinking, you're not letting that natural thought process flow. And that's what's causing it to be stuck and give you that pain that you feel. So what we do, we're basically giving one thought more power, right, than the other. And so do you ever overthink about trees? Do you ever overthink about your water bottle? No. But you chose to give that one thought that power. So that one thought about your test, for example, you give it that power. And you have to understand that you're the one who gives your thoughts power. And I really think that all your thoughts should just flow. And that's what I'm going to get into soon. But at this stage, you have to understand that you're giving your own thoughts, you're causing your own pain, basically. And that's the hard truth here. you're causing your whole pain with this, and it's tough to understand, right? Because you want to get out of your head, but the truth is you're causing your own pain. So I'm still in the introduction, but I really want you guys to understand these concepts. So what you have to what you have to understand is that there's a difference between overthinking and productive thinking, right? As I said, we want to think. Thoughts are harmless. We want to think. We don't want to stop the natural flow of thoughts. And so what is productive thinking? You're thinking about your goals, you're thinking about where you're going, you're thinking about, oh, I have a test tomorrow. That's good. You need to study. That's productive thinking. Overthinking is the opposite, right? You're just beating a dead horse. So at this stage, I just want you to understand that thinking is good, right? It's just when we're overthinking, we get in our head so much, it's not fun. Yes, Ravan, I hope this lecture is going to help you. I think there's a lot of value. It might be pretty long, but I hope you guys stick. There's a lot of people, 181. So thank you all for listening. So yeah, you have to understand that I'm going to ask you a question, guys. I think it's very comforting to understand that let's say look a year ago. Like, do you remember the things you were overthinking? Or last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it's very comforting to understand that those thoughts pass. And so what seems like more your sexy homo, thank you. What you have to understand is that it soon shall pass, right? Those thoughts that you think now are the biggest deal in the world are not going to be that important. You're going to look down the line 3 months, 4 months. It's not going to matter, is it? It's really not going to matter. And so it's hard to understand, but I think it's comforting. If you're experiencing some negative thoughts right now, overthinking, just understand that it's not going to affect you in like a year ago, a year future. And so the big thing that they talk about in meditation is that you have to be the watcher. It's you versus your lizard brain. There's two different minds, right? We could say the prefrontal cortex and your lizard brain. It's the rational mind versus the irrational mind, and you're always fighting between one and the other. You have to be that watcher. You have to separate from your thoughts and be that watcher. So, for example, you see a thought coming, it's very negative, you're overthinking about it. You don't identify with it. You're not your thoughts. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, you observe your thoughts, like Riku said. You're not your thoughts. You watch it, you don't judge it, you're curious about it, and then you don't identify with it. You observe the lizard brain. And we still have, it's like you versus your lizard brain. It's always fighting you. There's a really good quote, actually, by Eckhart Tolle. If you guys ever read The Power of Now, this is a really good quote. It says, the moment you realize you're not present, you're present. Whenever you're able to observe your mind, you're no longer trapped in it. Another factor has come in, something that is not of the mind, the witnessing presence. What do you think about that quote? Another factor has come in, something that is not of the mind. So that is what it basically is, right? You're present when you realize you're not present. I think that's really big. Yeah, it is fire. And it really talks a lot about, it encompasses, what I'm talking about, being the watcher. And so I said, And I'm going to say it many times. The point is not to stop thinking. It's to just be curious, relax, and let those thoughts come in. Let them do their jobs. Your brain's goal is to think, right? And so let me give you some analogies to what I'm saying. I think it could help you. Um, there's a guy, if you guys know Andy from the Headspace app, he has this really cool analogy that I like about overthinking. And he says, imagine there's a lot of cars on the highway, right? They're driving 20 miles per hour, and the cars are going, and you decide to stop one car. You go in front of it, you put your hand, you tell it to stop, and the other cars flow. The cars being your thoughts in this analogy, and you're just stopping that one thought, that one car. You're telling it not to go, and that's you resisting. You're resisting that thought, and what happens as a result is you're overthinking. You get in your head, and it hurts you. It hurts you mentally. And so, what if we do the opposite? What if we just let those cars go? Let those cars just drive. Because when you resist your thoughts, that's when it hurts the most. That's when your thoughts cause your own pain, you know? And so just see those cars. That's what I think about when I start overthinking about something. I just think about the car analogy, like just let the cars go. They're gonna sooner or later they're gonna go out of the highway. They're gonna exit the highway, and you're not gonna see them. And that's what I said before about your thoughts are just gonna disappear. Like think down the road. Do you remember what happened 5 months ago? That Thursday, 5 months ago, do you remember what you were overthinking? You probably were overthinking, but do you remember what you were overthinking about? I'll give you another analogy. Um, if anyone could explain the analogy to him, but I have one more. If you missed it, so imagine kayaking right down a stream of water. The stream of water is fast; it's going fast, and what you decide to do is you're just holding to a leaf, right? So imagine there's the water in the middle, and on the side there's like trees. So you decide to go to the right, and you just hold a leaf. You hold that tree for your life. And that's what we're doing, right? You're not letting that natural stream go because the stream is going to move. That's the natural progress of thoughts. They're going to move, they're going to get out of your head. But you're holding to that leaf, you're holding to that tree, and you're just not letting it pass. I think those analogies should help you. But what is the solution, right? We're talking a lot about overthinking, about the introduction about it. Thank you, Ami. I think the solution, first of all, you have to understand that overthinking is stunting your progress, right? How many times do you want to go to the gym and you're just overthinking? You're overthinking about, oh, should I do this today? Or should I do 6 reps? Or should I do seven? Or should I do 7 sets or five or three? It's stunting your progress because it's stopping you from taking action, you know? And sometimes all you want to do is just get out of your head and take action, but it's easier said than done. What you have to understand is that you can't fix overthinking by overthinking. And we think, me included, we think that we can overthink or overthinking and kind of fix it, if that makes sense. We think that by, let's say you're worried about a test, we think that by overthinking about the test, that somehow we're going to find a solution in our head, and our head is going to figure it out and it's going to be all fine. That's where we get it wrong. That's where it's like a cycle, like a loop. We think that it's going to fix it by overthinking. But you can't fix a problem the same way that it was created, right? It was created in your head, so you can't fix it through overthinking. There's no way. It's just not going to work. So I'm sure you can relate. How many times do you try to overthink your overthinking? You're overthinking about your gym workout, about what exercise to do, and it just stops you from taking action. So we're going to go over a lot of solutions, but I think I'd say honestly the biggest one has to be action. And I'm going to get into it because immediately you're going to be like, "Oh, that's boring. I'm going to drop off." You said action. I don't want to take action. If you're saying that this lecture is not for you, you can drop off. But action is a solution. You create the overthinking in your mind and you fix it through action. You create it in your mind, you fix it through action. You don't create it in your mind and you fix it in your mind. We think that is going to be the fix. We think that we can overthink our overthinking, but we create it in our mind and we fix it through action. And I swear this works from experience. How many times did you overthink about your workout? You're like, "Oh, I want to hit this today. Oh, but maybe I should do 5 reps, or should I be doing the curls, or should I be doing the bicep curls, or should I be doing this?" It doesn't matter. You're just overthinking and it's stopping you from taking action. And I've been there before, especially, in the gym. I think last week I was like researching all these exercises and for like a pull workout. And I was like, wait, what if this exercise is better than that one? But I was in my head and it just stopped me from taking action. But instead, you just show up. Instead, just go to the gym, just show up. And that's going to be so much better than just being in your head, right? Because being in your head means nothing in the real world. It means nothing. Do you understand that? Yeah. Someone said I can't stop overthinking. Hopefully, this is going to help you. Yeah, Guadam, exactly. You overthink your routine and you're like, wait, is this exercise good enough or should I be doing this one? But does it really matter, right? Like, if you show up and you're eating well and you're doing the exercise that you think you did research, right? You're not just like, oh, I'm gonna do like flying curls. I don't know what that is, but like a random exercise. You did some research, but it's time to take action. So we're done. Like stop overthinking your routine. Just go do it. That's where we get it wrong. We think we can overthink, and then it's gonna be that perfect workout, that perfect routine. It's all gonna work out, but no, it works out when you take action. You have to have no game plan sometimes. Have no game plan, walk in the dark, go into that dark cave alone, right? You don't know what's at the end of the cave, but you're starting to take those steps. Go in that dark cave and it's going to figure itself out. That's what I think. Easier said than done though. But so have no game plan and enter that cave. And so I want you guys right now to type in the chat and ask yourself, right? What are you overthinking right now? What are you overthinking right now that is stopping yourself from taking action? I want to hear it. Hmm. Fear of losing, not trying. Should I text that girl? This guy hosting the lecture is so hot. It's distracting. Thank you, Waj. If my diet is good. Yeah, I get that. Nothing. Nice, nice. And so what you did right there, all of you typing in the chat, is you stepped out of your mind and you became aware of what you're thinking about. That's the first step, right? You, I say many times, awareness in and of itself is transformative. So you stepped out of your mind and you're like, oh, I'm overthinking about this. Right. So I'm happy you guys are more aware about what you're overthinking. I think that's the first step. There's, if you guys know Dale Carnegie from How to Win Friends and Influence People, really famous OG guy from like the 1950s, 1960s. He has another book. It's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Thinking. And start living. I was looking at my book. And so in that book he says, it's a good book. In that book he says the secret of being miserable is to have the leisure to bother about whether you're happy or not. So what does that mean? It ties in with taking action, keeping busy. The book is called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. It's a really good book. It's like an OG book that honestly still applies to today's world. It was written like many years ago. But yeah, it's the secret of being miserable is to have the leisure to bother about whether you're happy or not. What that means is, if you keep busy, if you keep yourself occupied, then are you really going to have time to be in your head? It's harder. And so looking back, I think, like no joke, I think the days that I kept the most busy were the days that I was able to be syntax. No, we're not doing that actually. The days that I was out of my head and took action and kept busy, those were the days that I wasn't overthinking the most. And I was just, the momentum just flies, one thing after another. You execute, you fall on your face, and you just take action. We're not inviting other people because this is going to be a long lecture by itself, and I have to go later. Next time, though. Yeah, it should be posted on my YouTube. For the plugs, you can check it right now. But yeah, so yeah, take action and get busy. Let me give you a story. The reason you're here right now, listening to this lecture, is because I was just like overthinking, and I was like, should I do this? Because it's uncomfortable. Should I do this lecture? Even though I did it like two more other times, right? Should I do it? I was really in my head. I was like, it's comfortable not to do it. It's easier. I'll just maybe do it next week or a month later. But you know what I did? I went on the event tab, titled it whatever I thought I was going to title it, and made an event. And that's why you're here. I just showed up. Yeah. I didn't, I took action before I let my overthinking lizard brain worry. And so, yeah, definitely someone said, don't worry about doing and worrying and worry about perfectionism, something like that. So, exactly, like, whenever I make these lectures, I want it to be perfect. I'm sure maybe you didn't make a lecture or something like that, but you know what I mean, right? You know how you have that side of yourself that you want things to be perfect, but you just have to be like, fuck it. Get out of your comfort zone and just do it. Just do it. No, but you know what I mean, right? So, yeah, this is the reason you're here right now listening is because I literally did that. I was like, screw it. I'm going to make a lecture. I'm going to make the title. And trust me, still in my head right now, as I'm talking to you right now, I'm like, did I write enough stuff or maybe I missed some things but my prefrontal cortex, my actual rational brain is like, no, it's all good. They're loving it. Fuck it. That's why I'm here. I just took action. I stepped out of my head and I was like, no. So apply this in your life. Are you overthinking about something that you could just take action? The second we take action, we're out of our head. Like, it's very hard to overthink about these kind of stuff, and you really just have to take action. That's how it's going to solve it for you. There's a really good quote that I love. It says that your emotion follows your motion. What does that mean? Like, you're feeling depressed right now, you're feeling in your head, you're overthinking, and then you take action. That motion that I was talking to you about, right? You take action, and your emotion follows that. So right now you're feeling depressed, you're feeling in your head, and you don't want to go to the gym, but you go to the gym. How many times after you go to the gym, you feel better? Or you took action on your business, or you took action on whatever. Every single time. But yet we think we could fix it in our head. We think we can overthink the overthinking. In fact, we don't really have to be more aware that action is the solution. Your emotion follows your motion. I love that. So you're feeling depressed, you're feeling in your head, I don't know what bad habits you're doing, but most likely your motion is nothing, right? You're sitting in your chair, not taking action, watching YouTube or, whatever. But when, on the contrary, when you're taking action and you're in motion, physical action, not with your head, with your hands, with your body, you got to type, you got to lift those weights. That's when your emotion is going to follow. Do you understand? Yeah. There's an OG um, self-improvement guy. He's called Brian Tracy. His book is called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. He says in that book, not word for word, but I just remember that he says to take action into the unknown, having zero assurance that you will succeed. I love that. Again, it's not a word for word quote, but I remember him saying something like that. You take action, you go into that cave, that dark cave, or that dark tunnel, having zero assurance that you will succeed. Now, in my own life, many of you guys could look at my what's it called? On the right, it says my name. I recently started a YouTube channel, and what do you think I'm doing with that? Do I have any assurance that I will succeed? Honestly, I have no assurance. Like, yeah, I wanna believe that I'm gonna succeed, and I'm gonna get this amount of subscribers. Yeah, it's cool enough, but in reality, I have zero assurance. Like, all I could do is just show up, right? All I could do is take action, but I have zero assurance that my YouTube channel is gonna succeed or it's gonna pick up or zero assurance. But you know what I'm doing? I'm just stepping out of my head. I'm going into that unknown that Brian Tracy said, and I have zero assurance it's gonna succeed. But anyway, I'm gonna show up. So what in your life are you just like scared You're like in your comfort zone. Thank you for the words. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. There's a lot more morals of this lecture. This is going to be a little bit. I think I'm only halfway. But yeah, anyway, I was saying, have zero assurance that it's going to work. So yeah, I question you guys. What in your life are you like thinking? Oh, should I take action on this right now? Because you probably have zero assurance it's going to succeed. So you're just going to be comfortable, and are you really going to be comfortable and choose that to just stay like stagnant and not take action, or are you going to go into the unknown and just take action? So that's what I'm doing with my YouTube channel. But anyway, let's continue. So, what are other techniques to stop overthinking? Because yeah, it's cool to say, "Oh, take action, take action." Yeah, we're gonna get to meditation, but I want to give you another angle. I don't want to be like, "Oh, guys, the solution is meditation," for the 50th time. That's boring. No, I'm kidding. No, but really. So the first thing, um, it's easier. It's obvious, right? You have to live in the present because I said before, you can't overthink the present. It's impossible. You can only overthink the past and the future. Thank you so much, Aiden, for the plug. Appreciate it. So no matter what overthinking means, you're not in the now. That's what you have to understand. No matter like you're in your head, so you're not in the present, and most likely you're probably distracting yourself from the present. So this could be from with technology, and mostly it is right in today's world. You're distracting yourself with it could be music, it could be from your own thoughts. I preach that a lot on my channel right now. Um, just stepping away from technology and being alone with your thoughts, I think is so big. And you're probably overthinking because you're so like addicted to these apps. You just don't have time to be present. You understand? Yeah, so that's probably what's happening. And on my channel, I mentioned as well some of the things you can do, actions that you can take, is to limit your screen time and be more present. It's to take long walks or walks without your phone, without distracting yourself with music, headphones, just having more alone time. Staring at a wall, whatever you want to call it, journaling, just being with your own thoughts. It's painful. There's no doubt that it's painful, but being in that present moment is going to help you so much. Another thing I mentioned is that thank you so much, Aiden. I really appreciate it. I'm really trying. I'm really trying to grind. But yeah, what I was saying is that another good kind of thing that you could do is have leisure time. So scheduled leisure time, 1 hour in a day that you could just indulge. Not like crazy, but oh, you can go on Discord or you can go on YouTube, stuff like that. And honestly, when I do that, I don't even take a lot of time. Like I probably take like 10 minutes and then I'm done. But when I don't schedule my leisure or the opposite, when I fail and I end up like going on Discord at like 5 p.m. instead of my scheduled leisure time, you kind of feel like Um, how do I explain this? Like your past self told you that your leisure time is 9 to 10, and you broke that promise. So you kind of feel shitty about yourself in a way. You know what I mean? So own up to what your past self said. Your past self wanted you to listen to the rules that you set, and you didn't listen to them. So that's one thing. Step away from technology more, and give your head more time to think. I think that's a big thing in today's world. We're so like distracted, and then we're wondering why overthinking, anxiety, stress is so high at such high levels. It's not anyone's fault, but we just have to cope with these. We just have to learn to work with these technologies because they're dangerous in a way. So as always, expected, but just want to mention it there. As always, you have to keep on meditating because scientifically, meditation, the more you meditate, the more you strengthen the prefrontal cortex, and that's your rational brain, and you weaken that lizard brain. And the more you strengthen the rational brain, the rational aspect, the more you can be aware of your thoughts. Yeah, mindfulness. The more you can be aware, and the more you can step away from your thoughts. And so, as I mentioned before, the goal with these kind of stuff, especially meditation, is not to be thoughtless. Many people have it wrong. They think that the goal of meditation is to not have thoughts. And I was there too. I was like, I just started. When am I gonna have no thoughts? I can't wait. But honestly, as you meditate more and more, you understand. As you meditate more and more, you understand that the goal is to be the watcher. And actually, the more you meditate, at least personally, right? It could be different for you. The more I have more thoughts. Why? Because I'm more aware of them. They probably were there before, but I'm more aware of them. I strengthen that aspect of my brain, that prefrontal cortex that we talk about. So one thing, yeah, meditation is cool, right? But what could you do right now? Because meditation takes time. I don't want you to not do it because I said that, but what do you do in your everyday life, or what practice could you do to sort of like be more mindful? And this is called the mindfulness framework. What it is you notice, it's basically what you do during meditation, but you could do it outside of your practice as well. So you notice a thought and you get distracted. So your brain, you were thinking about something, you got distracted, and then you see the distraction, right? You're aware of it, you notice it, and then you come back to the present task or the meditation in the case of meditation. But in our day-to-day lives, it could be walking, or it could be in the gym, or it could be studying, or you're taking a test. So you could be taking a test and you could be thinking about something crazy, right? So you got distracted. That's step one. Step two is you see that distraction, you notice it. And step three is you come back to the present. And that's like one rep for your brain. That's what meditation is about. But we want to do this outside of our practice too. That's what I'm hinting here. That you don't want to do it just during your practice, you want to do it outside. So yeah, literally practice this every day. You won't have less thoughts, but you'll be more aware of your thoughts. I have meditated, I just checked the app yesterday. I meditated for 134 hours, right? And I still have a lot of thoughts. Meditation is not gonna be the cure to the thoughts and stuff like that. It's just gonna give you that awareness side. You'll be more aware of your thoughts. 134 hours. I use Headspace. Yep. I probably repeated like every single course on there, like many times. I like Headspace. So you really have to understand that with the mindfulness framework that I talked to you about and meditation, the goal is not to be thoughtless, it's to be more aware. So let's say you're walking. Let's say you're walking and you want to be present and you notice a thought. So what do? You see that thought, you come back to the walking, you come back to noticing the things around you, the trees, the leaves. You feel the air. Kind of use your senses to come back to the now. That's a good way to think about it. You're coming back to the present tense, present moment with your senses. I think that's really big. Yeah, use all your senses when you're coming back to the present moment. One thing I want to mention is that there's two kind of ways that you could think about it. I mentioned productive thinking and overthinking. I honestly think that I told you you should go on these long walks and it's good for you with no technology. And many times, yeah, you could choose to always focus your attention back on the walk. But myself included, I feel like if I'm not in my head, it's actually productive to think and let those emotions come out and just think, right? I'm not overthinking. The second I notice I'm overthinking, I practice what I told you, coming back to the present moment. But if I'm just thinking or I'm just letting those thoughts flow, right? Like the cars, like the car analogy, or like the stream, then it's not bad. I mentioned many times that thoughts are not bad. So the goal here is not to be like, oh, Moore said that I always have to come back to the now. And I've been there too, right? Where every moment you're like, oh, no, got to come back to the present. Oh, no, got to come back. That's also painful. So you really need a balance. I think when you notice that your thoughts are negative, let them flow. But if they're like stuck, if they're like if you see that's like a loop, you keep on like repeating it, then you need to note it or label it and come back to the breath. Noting or labeling is just noticing if it's a thought or a feeling, being aware of it and coming back to the breath or the task that you're doing, the present, basically. So yeah, when you label, you can label by saying, oh, I'm thinking. So like a thought or a feeling, like a physical feeling. So that's what I use when I come back to the present usually. Other times you could just be like, oh, coming back to the walk, to feeling my foot on the ground, to noticing the air around me, stuff like that. So what are other techniques, right? I really want to help you guys. So one thing I really think helps, how to know when to let thoughts flow and when to come back to the present moment. It's a good question. I think that a good time to let them flow is always think of it like a dam, right? Like there's water in a dam or like a gate, right? Like let's say your house is gated, your house being your brain, but you open the gate, you let those thoughts come in. That's what we want always. We never want to close the gate. The goal is not to close that gate, it's to let them come. And you're not afraid. I think that's kind of the what you have to understand. You're not afraid of your thoughts. Don't be afraid of the negative thoughts coming. So let them flow always. That's what I think. But when you want to come back to the present moment is when it's distracting you or when it's so negative or so repetitive that it's not doing you any good. So let's say you're studying or you're doing a you're taking a test. Like do you think it's actually a good idea to let thoughts flow naturally during a test? Most likely no. Most likely like thoughts about not the test. You know what I mean? Most likely, you want to just come back to the test. I really think you should just let them flow always. But the second they're intrusive, the second they're repetitive, like a broken record, the second you probably need to come back to what you're doing, to the present moment. I really want you to understand that you shouldn't be afraid of your thoughts. The goal here is not to evade them. It's like I said with the car analogy. Cars are just going to come and go. The second you resist them, the cars being your thoughts, the second it's just damaging to you. Resistance is what's keeping you from not being present. It's what's keeping you overthinking, basically. It's all about resistance, right? Resistance to the present being your thoughts, the present being your current thoughts coming in. Thank you, Damien. Stop resisting the present moment. And the present moment is your thoughts coming in. Hope you understand what I'm meaning, because the goal here is to keep thinking, open that gate, let those thoughts come and go, the negative and the positive. You understand? But the second it's like a broken record, like it's time to go. It's time to take action. It's time to come back to the breath or the present moment. So I was starting to say that other techniques that you could do is journal dumping. And so what it is, it's basically you open your journal or a piece of paper, take a pen out, and just start writing. Start writing what is bothering you. And soon enough, it's gonna click. Like something's gonna click in your head. Like you're gonna write like whatever is bothering you. And you probably wrote like 3 pages, 4 pages. At some point it's just gonna click. Like everything is just gonna align. And then you're gonna be like, oh, I'm good. Let me take action now. I'm ready. So definitely practice this. Whenever you really can't get out of your head, just write what's bothering you. Keep on writing. Just keep on writing. Like it could be anything. It could be just whatever is bothering you. Just keep on writing. It could be pages. You could be writing 4 pages. It doesn't matter. But yeah, at some point it's just gonna click. And if it doesn't, then you probably need to just label your thoughts and take action on that. On not on the thoughts, on whatever you need to do, and come back to the present. Because at that point, probably it's not gonna do you any good. But definitely try that. Try writing your or journaling your thoughts, especially when they're very repetitive and intrusive. It's a perfect time. I think another thing with journal dumping, and especially journaling, because I know many of you journal already, is it helps you look at the past and be like, damn, like those thoughts that I had like 3 months ago passed. Like I don't have them today. And as I said before, it's comforting. So once you have it on paper, it's even easier to be like, oh wow, I was thinking that in January. But damn, like I don't even think about that anymore. So it also helps for looking back. I do that many times. You just look back and be like, oh, I was really thinking about that like in August. Like who cares about that? Thank you. Uh, that's really funny. Ani, the man. Ani, the man. Give him that emoji. Come on. Get him to 10. Let's go. Nice, 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 nice. Nice, nice, nice. That was funny. Thank you for that. That was really funny. Um, but what I was saying is that, yeah, it helps you to look back. It helps you just be like, wow, that was really bothering me in August. Like, it shall pass, like I said. it's not going to bother you in the present. Yeah, it's very nice to look at your journal from a couple months ago and be like, wow, that's so cool. These thoughts just pass. They come and go. You leave that gate open and those thoughts are just going to come and go. And that's how it should be. That's the natural flow of thoughts. One more thing that I want to mention is that I mentioned this in my gratitude lecture. Your brain can only focus on one thought at a time, right? So you can't focus on negative and positive thoughts at the same time. So with that knowledge, you can't. With that knowledge, what you have to understand is that you just need to practice more gratitude. Gratitude is another answer here, and so the more positive your thoughts are going to be. So let's say right now it's like 70 negative, 30 positive. The more you kind of change that percentage, the more you'll be unable to like overthink, right? Because you can't overthink the positive. If your ratio is like, oh, I have 70% positive, 30 negative, you're gonna just overthink less. You understand the logic I'm trying to say? You just have more positive thoughts in your head in general. So the likelihood of you overthinking a negative thoughts is less likely. So yeah, gratitude definitely helps overthinking. You can't overthink the positive, as someone just said. Exactly. It's impossible. How many times do you overthink like, oh wow, I'm so happy about this great that happened to me. I got 100. Now let's keep overthinking about the 100. Like it doesn't happen. It just passes and goes. Like the gate I told you. Your thoughts are just gonna go. The second they stop is they're usually negative thoughts, and you're resisting those negative thoughts. You understand? Yeah, definitely journal dump. We're kind of wrapping up, but I just want to say, um, as a final notice, guys. First of all, thank you all for listening for so long, and I hope you got a lot of value here. But I just want to say that, as a final note, you're overthinking right now. Your negative thoughts mean nothing. It means nothing, right? Because we're pre- we're all valued on action, right? No one cares about your overthinking. All it's going to do is suppress you from taking action. So take action already. What are you what are you stopping what is stopping you right now from taking action? I want you guys to just be like, whatever is stopping you, just be like, fuck it. Like I'm out of my head. Like break that brain. Just be like visualize your brain like breaking. Like you don't need it. Just go take action in your hands. Go to the gym. Go take action with your body. You don't need your head. You don't need your overthinking lizard brain. Just go take action. Yeah, just do it. Don't be a bitch, like someone said. Yeah. But yeah, we're valued in action. And the more you're in your head, the more you're going to be left behind. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, you can be in your head for so long, but no, like, honestly, no one's really going to care. I'm just giving you the real truth. I don't want to be like rude or anything, but people out there, while you're overthinking, are taking action. You're overthinking about how many, um, sets you should do for this exercise. You're like researching, like instead of hitting the gym, you're like researching. You're like googling, oh, is this good? Should I do this or should I do 17 reps or 14 to 17? But in reality, someone out there is just taking action, and he's ahead of you. It's a sad truth, or it is a truth, but I think that honestly helps me. Whenever I'm in my head, I'm just like, damn, just take action. Like stop being in your head because someone out there is not in their head. I think especially for us men, like competition it helps so much. It helps you to stay out of your head and just be like, someone out there is taking action while I'm like overthinking. Really good summary we got here. Thank you, Guadam. Really thank you. Bro, you should make a podcast. Thank you. Maybe soon, but right now I'm starting with a YouTube channel. So you can listen to my voice there. For the plugs. But yeah, boys, thank you so much for listening. I really have to go. That's why I can't really bring people up today. I would definitely want to, but kind of tight on time. But I was really happy that you guys listened. Before you go, though, I want you guys to really ponder and think about the last question that I gave you. What are you overthinking right now that you could just be like, fuck my lizard brain, I'm gonna break it in half? Like visualize that. Like break that brain. And just go take action on the thing that you're putting off. And just for the plugs, boys, if you want to support me and my grind, I'm gonna put a link to my YouTube channel. And yeah, if you want to listen to more valuable content, it's gonna be there. And I will post this lecture there. So stay tuned. But yeah, I am posting consistently, or at least trying to. And yeah, so for more valuable content, listen there. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. And I also do self improvement coaching. You can also listen or click on the link there. And yeah, that's for another time. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Sinery. I really appreciate your time as well. You want to kiss? You want to kiss goodbye? That's what you said? Okay, mwah. You got a kiss. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to drop off. Appreciate it. Bye, guys. Go take action. Peace.
That was a legendary lecture by our boy Mayor. I believe that's his name. I'm gonna send this over to him now so he can post it up. But if you're listening to this, seriously, I hope you were taking notes or looking at the pinned messages up here from Guadam. There's a lot to learn here, and all of these lectures, that's the goal, to help all of us on our journey. I hope you guys are learning from it. I really hope so. So, if you are listening to this lecture, make sure you're subbing to Mayor. Like, if you're not, what are you doing at this point? Go sub to this man. He's a king. I'm going to channel right now. Like, go sub right now. Get this man to 200 subs, 250 subs, 300 subs. Like, go subscribe. But I'm going to end the recording here. I'm going to send it over so we can get it posted.